a bridge crossed with words is already halfway built. Ancient saying. The tipping scale of want. Countless volumes of lofty gibberish have been churned out about the craft of striking deals, often by those who thrive on grandstanding rather than results. Consider a famous speech from a mid-20th century leader who declared that deals should never spring from desperation, yet the door to dialogue must always remain ajar. This straddles the line between insight and empty platitude, half-baked, wisdom from a figure more celebrated for charm than clarity. Dealing from desperation isn't dealing at all. It's waving a white flag with extra steps. On the flip side, keeping an ear open for mutual gain is hardly a revelation. It's the kind of basic truth that doesn't need a podium. Yet shelves groan under the weight of bloated tomes with titles like The Dealmaker's Edge or The Lightning Strike Strategist, peddled by corporate gurus chasing a quick buck. Entertaining perhaps, but rarely a roadmap to real wealth, unless you're the one cashing the royalty checks. True deal-making, though, is a different beast. It's a lever that can shift fortunes, not because everyone wields it well, most don't, but because so many overestimate their own prowess. The reality is more grounded. Few rise above mediocrity in this game. Most deals could be skipped entirely. The other side is rarely a genius or a fool, just human, like anyone else. Outcomes often hinge on the tipping scale of want. When desire battles necessity, desire tends to come out on top. Every deal stems from a crack in someone's armor, unless the rare soul revels in the back and forth for its own sake. Bargaining can spark a thrill, sure, but it's a tool, not the prize. Those who live for the haggle might find a better fit swaying voters than stacking coins, swapping the grind of profit for the cushy art of persuasion, where losses hit the public purse instead of their own. For the rest, real deal-making is a last resort, like calling in a favor from a stern uncle. Everyday trades, sorting out schedules, settling small disputes, aren't deals. They're just life's hum. How they unfold depends on who's involved, what's at stake, and whether the coffee's kicked in yet. Take a worker needing to duck out early to ferry kids to dance class. If they're vital, flexibility flows like water. If not, rules tighten like a vice, or the matter gets a shrug and a workaround. Either way, it's not a negotiation. It's a puzzle being pieced together. Same goes for haggling over a modest raise, tweaking a job title, or setting the price of fresh bread at the market. Serious deals, though? They're a thunderclap. Rare, electric, unmistakable. Like spotting a comet streak across a clear night, they don't come often, but their impact lingers. Everyday trades versus high stakes. Plays don't confuse the daily shuffle of trade-offs with the high-stakes plays that reshape the board. Each demands its own rhythm. Thriving ventures, whether sprawling firms or scrappy startups, rely on sharp minds steering the ship and steady hands keeping it afloat. That's no secret. Ignore it, and the whole operation capsizes. But finding those who can ignite purpose in the mundane, spot diamonds in the rough trim dead weight, and pivot with the winds, that's not about striking deals. It's about cultivating a crew where merit rules, favoritism withers, and ambition gets a fair shot. Simple enough in theory, every outfit mirrors its origins too. It's an odd truth, but history bears it out. Decades after their founders fade, some traces linger, like how vintage films from one studio carried a brighter sheen than their grittier rivals, a quirk baked in by the visionaries who set the tone. The goal here isn't nostalgia. It's forging a machine that churns cash while feeling like a home. Noble, necessary, but still a task for the lieutenants, not the deal-makers. The aim isn't to master the art of oversight. Lieutenants seldom strike it rich. They're the backbone, not the brain trust. The focus must stay on bigger prizes, juggling multiple fires while wearing a manager's hat only as long as it takes to pass it off. Time spent fussing over desk, assignments, or snack budgets signals a ship drifting off course. Most crave stability, influence, or a pat on the back more than they chase wealth, and that's a gift. If every capable lieutenant turned rogue to chase riches, the path would be a lot thornier. Loyalty, fairness, and a cool head matter, of course. Without them, the machine stalls. But those virtues can dull the edge needed when the stakes soar, and the future teeters. High-stakes plays differ from routine trades like a storm differs from a drizzle. They're born from a chink in someone's position, unlike the everyday give and take where no one's bleeding. The first step is pinning, down where the cracks lie. Both sides usually have them, and the game turns on spotting which one's widest, which one's most urgent. A fleeting edge can outweigh years of steady strength. That's why nimble upstarts sometimes outfox lumbering giants, especially in uncharted waters. If a titan decides it must have the latest shiny thing, say a breakthrough gadget, it might overpay in a blink. Look at how rural growers get squeezed by massive retailers. One side's flush with options and cash, the other's scrambling to fix the roof before the next rain. The scale tips hard, and the outcome's locked, unless a bigger force steps in. Flip the script. If supply tightened, the growers could turn the tables. For now, abundance keeps them pinned. Or consider a small outfit begging a bank for a lifeline. To cover rent. The answer's a flat no. Need screams too loud. But pitch a loan to scale a promising venture where the cash is a bonus, not a lifeline? Offers rain down. The bank smells opportunity, not desperation. The hawk and the sparrow picture. The powers that hoard resources as hawks soaring over the plains. They rule the skies. But a sparrow, small, darting, barely a blip, can still ruffle feathers. What's it worth to the hawk to snatch that sparrow up? Especially if the sparrow's wings are spreading while the hawks are clipped. The hawk answers to a sharper beak. The flock of watchers perched in the trees, wielding sticks and stones, call them the overseers of wealth. They demand the hawk stay ahead, spotting every rustle in the grass. A dip in the hawk's flight risks a jab or worse, leaving its bones to bleach in the sun while a new bird takes wing. Now imagine a sparrow hatching a clever trick. Something small but buzzing with promise. The hawk's overseers might hear of it and screech if the hawk misses out. Fear of that clamor drives the hawk to swoop, not out of fondness but necessity. That's the day the dance begins, when the sparrow's grit and a keen read of the tipping scale can flip the script overnight. Take a tale from the dawn of digital scrolls. In the early 1980s, clunky machines that hummed with code were novelties, not fixtures. A tiny outfit, Sparrow Press, scratched out a living peddling tales of these gadgets in a niche rag called Tech Tidbits. Cash was tight, but the sparrow, at the helm, a wiry dreamer named Clara, saw a wave building and rode it hard. She nabbed a stake in the region's first tech chronicle from its weary founder, Lucas, and poured every spare dime into it. The rag grew wings as the market swelled. Readers flocked, ads poured in. Then, a misstep. Clara launched a flashy music sheet that dazzled briefly before crashing, draining the coffers. Teetering, she dodged a hasty sale to allies. Just as the well ran dry, a hawk circled. Peak Media, a towering flock with deep nests. Its envoy, Elias, smooth as a river stone, pressed to buy Tech Tidbits for a plump 800,000 coins. Clara, sensing a quiver in Elias's calm, pushed for more. The hawk balked, hunting cheaper prey, and misjudged its hunger. Soon, a second hawk, vast wings from across the sea, swooped in. This beast craved a foothold in the buzzing tech tide, fearing its overseer's wrath if it lagged. Clara played it cool, sipping their wine while dodging their flattery. Over months, as Tech Tidbits fattened, Vast Wings offers climbed, 1.2 million, then 2 million, each waved off. At a grand summit, Clara set her perch. 3 million coins, a sliver held back, and freedom to launch a trade spin-off. When Vast Wings hesitated, she walked, betting their need would snap. It did. The deal closed at her price, securing her nest and a new venture, tech trade, while Vast Wings nabbed a gem that still gleams decades later. The first hawk? Peak Media missed the wave, outshone in that patch ever since. A slip in reading the scale cost them dear, a handful of wisdom for the dance. Talent for intricate deal-making is rare, on both sides of the table. If the knack eludes, set a line, price, terms, limits, and hold fast. The first gut call often trumps second guesses. Most deals are noise, Save the heavy moves for when it counts. A bridge half-crossed with chatter is already swaying. Dig deep before stepping in. Unknowns are arrows in the dark. Details bite hard in big plays. Lean on trusted guides, but keep the reins. Advisors don't bear the scars. If the guides stray off script, pause and reset. Plenty weight in the wings. Don't wed the deal. It's a stepping stone, not a shrine. Shun bidding wars unless you're unloading. Victory there often bleeds coin. The face across the table isn't an ally. Pleasantries aside, they're the foe. Real stakes carve winners and losers. Forget tales of stripping emotion from the room. If fire burns, let it show. Tempered with grace or a wry twist. Ear on, mouth off. Silence unnerves, and loose tongues spill leverage. Toss in a wild card late. A twist they didn't see coming. It tilts the odds more than you'd think. Old empires thrived splitting foes. Study the other side's ranks. A hairline fracture can crack the whole front. Seal your own ranks tight. Solo's better than a bickering crew. Everyone fancies themselves a master dealer. Most aren't. If it's your stake, you call the shot, skilled or not. Doubt your own flair? Step back, script every move, and send a proxy. A trusted stand-in can stun. Above all, find the tipping scale of want. Strengths shout, weaknesses whisper. Hunt them down and strike. Honor the pact, whatever it is. A deal's only as good as its keeper. Ages ago, a sage scribbled, "A vow binds all, fair or foul." True then, true now. Centuries back, a sharp mind climbed from rags to riches, then tumbled, leaving behind a nugget on deal-making. Know their ways to guide them, their aims to sway them, their soft spots to press them, or those who pull their strings to steer them. With the sly, weigh their words against their goals, say little, and surprise. In tough dances, plant seeds slow, letting the fruit ripen over time, timeless that.